Ladies and gentlemen, are we actually away? Indeed we are. Will we actually get a video? We truly hope so. Ladies and gentlemen, today's date is the 15th of January, 2025. It's 10:35 a.m. I got up this morning and I was in a it's 10:33 a.m. 33, three times already this morning.
This is Elon Musk. The reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H-1B. Take a big step back and F yourself, all caps, in the face. F yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. Oh yeah, tough guy? You're going to go to war on the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. You're a man-child, to be blunt. I hate to make it personal, but what you have done is try to trash individuals punching down. Remember, the first rule of gladiator school, bro, don't punch down. Either punch up here or punch up. I responded last night, someone please notify Child Protective Services, need to do a wellness check on this toddler. I hate to be snarky, but I think the moment called for it. People come, oh, you got to take the temperature down. No, we're not going to take the temperature down. We're not going to take the temperature down. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. We do not, it's no backing down. It's doubling down. It's no retreat. It's fixed bayonets and it's advance. And it's not surrender. It's victory. We're going to win this. Let me repeat. The H-1B visa program is a total and complete scam concocted by the lords of easy money on Wall Street and the oligarchs in Silicon Valley to both initially to just increase profit margins. But there's a darker element to it today, a contempt of America and American citizens, and we're not going to tolerate it.
33. Maybe I'm a high-level Mason and never knew. Oh. I should really, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm going to stop. What a crazy period of time. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about Steve Bannon, the World Economic Forum, still talking multipolar. We're going to talk about Peter Hegseth, but most of all, we're going to talk about good old Steve's fight with Elon Musk. And I must confess that I am still rather worried, but there's some interesting things that come out of Bannon and the War Room, which is infuriating. They're going after think tanks. Wow, that's big. Now, that's actually big. Way, way, way big. Way big. And, of course, we have the great Norman Dodd. Norman Dodd should be required reading everywhere. Everywhere. It's incredibly, incredibly important to understand Norman Dodd and the Rees Commission on the tax-exempt foundations. Ladies and gentlemen, how do they work? How do they work? They work by what? City of London, European banking cartel, Hoofdjuden, the noble families of Europe, 500 years of intermixing. Then we have what? The funding of roundtables, Cecil Rhodes, history of Cecil Rhodes, said it 1,000 times, I'll say it 1,000 more. Yes, I'm waving my hands around a lot, been watching Marcus Brownlee, that's how you do it. Roundtable groups, Cecil Rhodes, Club of Rome, we forget about the Club of Rome, Bilderberger, Davos, all those big ones in Europe, flooding down into the Council on Foreign Relations, the Atlantic Council, the Trilateral Commission, things which were talked about all the time online, which you hardly ever hear now because men think they're women. Flying saucers.
Flying saucers.
Thank you, Tucker. And down into the foundation systems like a George Kaiser, for instance, who's running in there in Oklahoma with Save the Children, family foundations, we care, as he launders drug money through his banks and his oil stuff, and of course funding money into the big evangelical movement churches, the giant 40,000 seat stadiums, which are laundering drug money, billions of dollars worth. That's going to be in the papers soon. You wait and see. So getting back to, if you didn't know and you saw the short intro with Steve Bannon, that he's not happy. He is not happy. So let's go here. This is from Late Night with Seth Meyers. I mean, he's a leftist twat, but he's mildly funny. But here's a rundown. This is a quick rundown, just how vicious it is.
I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. That outburst prompted Steve Bannon to hit back at Musk, saying, someone please notify Child Protective Services, need to do a wellness check on this topic.
I mean, it should be obvious that, if you want to get rid of Elon Musk, all you have to do is show one channel. There's multiple channels dedicated to exposing how fraudulent he is and should be in jail for out-and-out fraud, criminal negligence, you name it. And that would be the end of Musk. His whole bullshit Mars stuff, all of it. It's all garbage. He's taken billions out of NASA and delivered literally nothing, but he quickly got using NASA technology, which I must admit was pretty amazing. The big arms closing in on that super heavy. I was like, whoa, that's a big deal. But that's been around for 30, 40 years, that technology. Of course, it's been applied to a gigantic rocket, which is, it's amazing. I'm all for it. I want to see us. We've got to launch out into the stars. It's going to take many, many decades. We ain't getting to Mars before the end of the century. I'm telling you right now. There might be someone on Mars in 20, 30 years, maybe. But as a colony, you'll be pushing the end of the century, really pushing it. There's so many problems to overcome. It's not funny. It's really, really difficult to get there. But if you really want to destroy Elon Musk, there's ways to do it. But, I've become convinced they don't know. These well-to-do people with all their minions around them are just so busy on their business class flights and first class flights around the world that they have no idea what's actually going on.
Quote, I will have Elon Musk run out of here by Inauguration Day. He will not have a blue pass to the White House. He will not have full access to the White House. He will be like any other person. He is a evil guy, a very bad guy. I made it my personal thing.
Truly evil guy. That's look, he's no way Bannon has said this without permission from Trump. There's just no way. Absolutely no way.
To take this guy down.
Not hard to do. He's a village idiot, as you called him, the global village idiot. And let's quickly get on to what Donald Trump said about him all those years ago. We all have memories. I'm sure someone else has mentioned it. I mean, this was what date was this? This was 2018, 2019. This is from his good old, what's it called? What's Donald Trump's, whatever it's called, Donald Trump's version of Twitter. When Elon Musk came to the White House asking me for help on all of his many subsidized projects, whether it's electric cars that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere, without which subsidies he'd be worthless, and telling me how he was a big Trump fan and Republican, I could have said, drop to your knees and beg, and he would have done it. And that is the appropriate expose on Musk. That's what he is, a worthless piece of subsidized garbage who lives off taxpayer subsidies, basically, and also fraudulent contracts from NASA, which he never fulfills. And then Kathy Luda, who's actually the boss of NASA for the contracts, gives him billions in contracts and then goes and gets a job at SpaceX. I mean, hello? Will that be investigated by DOJ? I mean, we can ask simple questions. So the genius who's running multiple successful companies, they're all gone broke, multiple successful companies, has time to hang out at Mar-a-Lago and work at the White House. Really? So good. They're getting rid of him, thank God. And they'll probably reinvest into China, because China's still going great guns in Tesla. Where's all these sanctions they talk about? I'm a little bit worried, actually. Something's up. I'm a little bit worried. I have a feeling, I have a bad feeling about it. We'll talk about it.
I'm really trying my best to find joy wherever I can amidst the darkness of a Trump presidency. So let me just say, I'm really enjoying this. I mean, Elon Musk and Steve Bannon fighting finally answers the question, is there anything Republicans won't blame on wokeness? Because the wokes' hands are clean on this one.
Anyway, Seth Meyers with his fake laughter tracks. Look, I don't mind. He's occasionally quite funny. Look, this is a real fight, and they want to get rid of him. There's no way Bannon has started this without Trump's permission. I enjoyed watching Bannon, and you can. The links are all below, by the way. I always link my stuff. You can watch the full 49-minute version where they go into all of this, and yeah, I mean, there you go. It's real. They hate his guts. They want rid of him. Good. Something's up. I don't see Doge lasting too long. Viv Ramaswamy, Bannon comes out and says, hey, idiot, you don't release that sort of talk on December the 25th when we're celebrating the birth of Christ. I like that, but I got a lot of problems with Bannon, because Bannon is also doing some great things. This is what's infuriating with Bannon. He does these incredible things. He does loops. He does incredible, amazing stuff, and you go, yeah, and then kind of stops. And you think, well, where's the follow-up? Including, the think tank stuff. It's all good. The very elaborate dog whistles, if they're dog whistles. And then I actually went over the war room. I've usually got people watching it for me. I don't know where they've gone. But in the war room, he's nonstop. F Ukraine, leave Ukraine. It's another swamp. That is a lie. Ukraine can be fixed very simply. Now, Bannon, works for Office of Naval Intelligence. You mean to say this guy's this clueless? I don't know. I'm starting to believe Bannon's actually pretty dumb. He thinks he's very clever, but he's very underread. Maybe he's so busy drinking whiskey, popping Adderalls, he doesn't have the time to actually look stuff up, and he's got a bunch of sycophants around him. I mean, Corsi's got to go. There's no way Corsi will get in. Actually, there's an interesting another name, Corsi. I was listening to the great Bill Cooper again on British Israelism, and the Corsi was heavy into British Israelism. And I wonder if there's any relation. I've got to look into that. I always feel better after listening to Bill Cooper. Don't agree with everything Bill Cooper says, not by a mile, but, it's like, it's real. It's like an organic mango or something. It's like, delicious after the McDonald's tripe. But Bannon is there infuriating. I just get infuriating. Look, it's the war for Eurasia, and it's important the US stays exactly right in the middle of it to prevent the coming together of the Rothschild. Look, I'm not seeing them being destroyed, and I don't like it. Now, I do understand why you take over systems, and I do get it. But until we see the central bank digital currency centered in Washington, D.C., and a whole range of issues centered in Washington, D.C., I'm really starting to get worried. I'm not seeing enough policy. We'll wait and see. We'll know. Look, 1 year, give it 1 year. In fact, you won't even have to give it 1 year. Give it 3 months. In fact, no, give it 3 weeks. We'll have a very good idea where it's going. I'll repeat for you, you can't fool the Trump-tards anymore. I mean, you have Susie Wiles. It's a pretty big deal when you got Susie Wiles sitting there as the chief of staff. I mean, seriously? Seriously? You couldn't find someone else? Even say you're taking over the movement, why have you put up Susie Wiles? Well, it's to calm the markets. Oh, Susie Wiles is in there. Okay, it's a message. And then, of course, you got the Ari and Rahm Emanuel brothers. I mean, they have to go. And not just go, they have to be publicly humiliated. These are Israeli royalty. These are Israeli intelligence royalty. Their family is a dynastic Israeli intelligence royalty family who have a long history with Trump and others, clearly out of the Chicago Jewish mob and the Frankfurt School based out of this University of Chicago. They must go. I want them gone. I want them next to Arnon Milchan in London, where he only feels safe now, where Whitney will feel safe in London, where all their assets run to, back to London. We hope to hear very soon that Ari and Rahm Emanuel are back in London and have no more residency or I don't know if they're US citizens or not, but maybe they need to find a home in Ukraine with Chabad Lubavitch. That's another thing. The whole Trump retard train must get rid of Chabad Lubavitch and Jared Kushner. Like, there must be like a public outing that we will not be around a bunch of racist lunatics. And I noticed Bannon called him a racist. All you racists from South Africa, Bannon said, and I went, whoa, Bannon, whoa, easy, tiger. I mean, that's pretty hardcore language. That really got me. I thought, what the hell? And sorry, I'm way behind this. People said, oh, have you seen what Bannon's going after Musk? I said, good, he hates his guts, I know that. But I didn't even look. I've been engaged with other catastrophes in my life at the moment, if you didn't know, of course. I thought, whoa. Now, I know a lot of South Africans and South African Jews. They're all in Perth, Western Australia. Bill Bosch, South African intelligence down there, all their special forces retired, running from investigations into their killing of black activists are all over there in Perth, Western Australia. And I went out with the daughter of a friend of Ian Smith from the Rhodesian Bourgeois. One of the most intimidating men I've ever met in my life. He's about 6'4", big man, hardly speaks, but he was polite. He was, hey, Brendan, how are you? How are things? Look after my daughter, I'll kill you. No, I mean it. No, he didn't quite say that, but that's what he was like. Hard man, like really hard man, but polite. I have my suspicions about what he got up to with his friends, but all the SAS down there at Campbell Barracks in Perth, all friends with all those South Africans. And as you know, Western Australia is hardcore close friends with Benjamin Netanyahu and South African Jews, many of whom I knew and I quite liked. They were quite nice people. Certainly not running around calling for the master race or plotting to sacrifice babies. But yeah, there's a problem in Perth, Western Australia, the place you've never heard of where a lot of secret things go on. If you want to know, I'm giving you gold here. Do you know how many secret things go on in Perth, Western Australia? We're full of military intelligence. The Special Air Service, Campbell Barracks, is based on the beach there in Swanbourne Barracks. Do you want to know it's old timers, the Newgan hand banks back in the 70s? the Gough Whitlam heroin trade, good old Kerry Packer, best friends with Abe Saffron, the Jewish mafia don of Australia, and Israeli intelligence asset running heroin, all involved in that Nugan hand bank. Do you remember that? And his son, James Packer, best friends with good old Benjamin Netanyahu, involved in all the crimes and criminal activities that are going on, best friends, running Crown Casino in drug money laundering, drug trade. I mean, they've been outed in big investigations. Goanna was the nickname, the code name given to Kerry Packer, Goanna. Involved in death threats, gold bullion heists, you name it. I know a guy that met Packer in the lift, and he said he's one of the most intimidating men he's ever met. He's about 6'4", and he's a big man. And he looked down and he said, "Oh, look, I'm in a lift with the little people." And he said, I was like, what the hell? He didn't know who he was at the time. And he went, wait a minute, that was Kerry Packer. And then I met someone else who was not by blood his niece, but knew him well, and said he's actually extremely loyal, not involved in pedophilia, just standard sex acts with grown consenting women, would you believe? And said actually he's a very loyal, nice guy, and his employees love him. And I was like, well, okay, that's the many dichotomies of life, isn't it? Some very nice people do very bad things. And of course, who was good friends with all of them? That boy from the bush, boy from Western Australia, Kerry Stokes, who again does some wonderful things, and his West Australian newspaper did some very defensive articles on me and said it was outrageous. And he is also very close with Benjamin Netanyahu, and he bought the Rothschild Bible, you remember, in 2014 in August, 8 months after I got out of jail, the Rothschild Bible. And of course I was going to hang out with his friends, Minister Joe Francis, Tony Abbott, and Colonel James McMahon, SAS retired, who were all looking after another SAS trooper in a very famous case of murder on the battlefield. I could talk to you for a long time about Western Australia, the secret bases out there, the sonic booms that go on all the time out in the desert. I could tell you all day the drug trafficking that goes through, the SAS involvement in drug trafficking. The motto of the SAS is actually do whatever you want, just don't get caught, not who dares wins. Obviously, there's some great people there, and there's some weird people, bisexual, heavy bisexuality, sharing of wives, sharing of girlfriends, group sex, drug trafficking, South African intelligence, retired South African Special Forces. Would you like to know more? I could give you a whole rundown of what goes on in Perth, Campbell Barracks. But anyway, obviously some fantastic people there too, including in the police. And there's obviously a huge amount of corruption there as well. So that's Perth, Western Australia. That is Corsi, British Israelism, all linked back to Rothschild and, Steve Bannon, isn't it, Steve? So let's now move on to good old, that's the Trump. Anyway, that's the Elon Musk thing. It's real. They want to get rid of him. They hate his guts. They took his money. It's interesting to see, though, because they might put him somewhere because there's probably links to get back into China, and Tesla is still being done in China and doing okay. And everyone wants a bite of the apple. So new deals have been done, and I'm not sure they're for the good. I'm starting to worry. There's something going on. I understand you do deals, it's politics, but I think the Trump tards, the Trump base, the Maga base are saying, we're tired of your deals. We're really tired of it. You need to, Pluto is in Aquarius, and if there's one thing that's going to come out of this Pluto and Aquarius movement is that it's going to be rapid uncovering of corruption, like really quick. It's going to be way faster than we expected. Elon Musk really can't continue, but we'll see. We'll see, because there's money to be made and they all want a cut of the deals. Bannon wants a cut of the deals, all the deals going in. There's a lot of drug money tied up with Tesla and SpaceX, a lot of friends out of Israel, technology transfer. It's well rumored that Musk's brother, what's his name, Kimball or whatever it is running drugs out back and forward from Mexico in the private plane. So to get cash, you think he's not cashed up. Elon Musk doesn't have a lot of cash. He was meant to get his $50 billion pump and dump payout, which he's never getting. That fraud, that alone is the biggest fraud in history. And of course we have, and again, that whole pump and dump, that whole troll army, they work with Putin, they work on Elon Musk, they work out of Israel. It's the same troll army that push flat earth and all the rest of these psychological warfare programs. So we're really going to see him go down, but everyone still wants a piece of the pie. So as DOD and that keep pushing back into China, I presume at some time. Look, I'm a little bit unsure now because there's strange things going on. There's certain ways an arranged war and arranged blockade would occur, and Xi seems to be moving forward with, they're getting ready for war, put it that way, and very sooner rather than later. So we'll see how that unfolds. But let's move on to something positive, which is so infuriating with good old Steve Bannon, is this sort of stuff. It's everything we want. Ben Freeman details his work of uncovering think tanks in America. I guess we could watch let's watch a little bit of it.
Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Welcome back to the War Room. We are joined now by Ben Freeman of the Quincy Institute, who broke news not too long ago. I think the first time ever put up a really comprehensive sort of think tank tracker showing how money flows, whether it's from the United States government, foreign governments, the military-industrial complex, basically all the entities that want the policies that come out of this great country, this capital that is just a stone's throw away from me.
January 11th, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so important. This is what infuriates me with Bannon. I go crazy on Bannon. He does something, yes, Bannon, you drunken Irish bum, yes. And then you just go, oh, for God's sake, I can't believe it. What the hell? It's like he's messing with our heads. Why do you do something brilliant and then do something utterly ridiculous? Drives me insane. New study reveals rampant conflicts of interest at think tanks. Scholars, media organizations, and members of the public should be sensitized to the conflicts of interest shaping foreign policy analysis generally and nuclear policy analysis specifically, is the conclusion of new academic research that documents how think tank funders are shaping the foreign policy debate. Ladies and gentlemen, I have carped and carped and carped. What is it? City of London, central bankers of Europe, noble families of Europe, funding of roundtable groups, Cecil Rhodes, you go into British Israelism, all that stuff, down into Club of Rome, all that climate change stuff out of the Club of Rome. Let's kill off the species. Bilderberger, Davos, then going into the Council on Foreign Relations, Atlantic Council, Trilateral, and the foundation system. I haven't seen foundation system, but I'm predicting it's going to come pretty soon. It's so important to understand the system and the funding. So this culture war, when are we going to move into the fact the culture war is completely fake? It's not an organic entity of madness. It is a fake Kissinger/Soros fund straight out of the City of London, Tavistock, for crying out loud. When are we going to hear that? Maybe we'll hear it soon. This year's going to be interesting.
Don't benefit you, the American worker, the American citizen, the American parent, the American family, whatever you may be, but benefit them. And it seems like the interests that they have are always at odds with what you want. No conspiracies, no coincidences, but I'm just saying. Ben joins us now. Ben, I was reading through this report. The numbers are just staggering. In the last, few years, more than $110 million to the top 50 think tanks in the United States from foreign governments.
150 million from foreign. Let's talk billions, can we?
Defense companies have contributed over 34.7 million and over 1.49 billion from the United States government. Sort of walk us through why you guys created this tracker, basically presupposing the idea that they are getting some form of ROI, whether it's influencing government policy.
They're getting what? A return on investment? They're getting influence? No way. Really? Oh, tell me more.
Propaganda narratives. Why did you guys set out to do this?
Yeah, great question, Natalie. First, thanks for having me on. We started this project because we were looking at a lot of the work that think tanks were doing, and a lot of it seemed to indicate that maybe it was serving the interests of some of their funders. So we did, I think what a lot of your viewers and you regularly do, we decided to follow the money. We decided to follow all of the money, and we didn't realize how much money we were getting into. And ultimately, as you mentioned, we dug up over $1.5 billion in total funding going to the top 50 think tanks in the U.S.
Whoa, 1.5 billion, 50 think tanks, writing and recommending legislative policy.
And that's just over the past 5 years. And to be clear, Natalie, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because one really disturbing fact about think tank funding is that think tanks aren't actually required to disclose any of their funding, whether it's from foreign government, the U.S. government, Pentagon contractors, doesn't matter. They're not required to disclose that information. In fact, over a third of the think tanks that we looked at, 18 of the 50, disclose absolutely nothing about their funding. And so all of these figures, as enormous as they might be, we really think this is just the tip of the iceberg for the conflict of interest going on at think tanks in the U.S.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, it's shameful that we should even be like, why are you only talking about this now? But I'm happy. But this is big. It's big. It's with Bannon. That's what's infuriating. Let's pull out of Ukraine. It's like, okay, well, it's not happening, number one, but, well, maybe it is. I don't know. I go up on my gut. Yeah, you got to balance your gut and your intellect. My gut is, ooh, something's up, Brennan. Something is up. It's not good. It's not about war or no. It's like something's going on. The snake is slithering back in. Something's up. Something's up. Anyway, I'll leave you to watch the whole thing. It's very important, and that's really good news, but frustrating news. Is it just sophisticated rhetoric with the data analytics? Are we having an effect more than we know? We're just not seeing it as much as we would like. Norman Dodd, ladies and gentlemen. Norman Dodd. That is a 19-minute extract of the Rees committee, Senate hearing committee on vital information, old school information, on the foundation systems funding and subverting the United States, Rockefeller and all the rest, Soros, Clinton, all of them. And then you see the funding of the think tanks. This is where the narrative must go. The narrative must go here. I don't care how radical you think it is and maybe they have to play politics. No, it's Rothschild, City of London, noble families of Europe, Hoofdjuden. Explain it. Explain 500 years of the court Jews of Europe. Explain how that happened. Clearly someone's upset because no sooner do I buy a Rothschild book on it on Amazon, my Amazon account is hacked and suspended. And my banks don't work. Although it's working now, I still can't get money out. I have to go to another bank. I'm pretty sure it'll sort itself out, but that's okay. And then another bank. Strange things all in one day, ladies and gentlemen. So we need that narrative. Cecil Rhodes, the history of this is old school stuff. That's all we ever talked about in the olden days when the internet was real and organic and you didn't get paid to pass comments. You didn't get paid. Nobody sold coffee mugs and T-shirts. It cost you money to put your information out there. And boy, was the quality off the planet. That's why you see me so viscerally angered by the crap I see online and people thinking that's wonderful. It's like they're reading McDonald's slop. Oh, this is organic. McDonald's say, that ain't organic, buddy. That's McDonald's with the flashy little restaurant with the lights where you take your kids and play on the slides. They're training up to eat shit. And you want to tell them, have you ever had organic information before in large quantities, which is all you ever got? And I thought that was normal. I thought my Huckleberry Finn life growing up in the 70s and 80s was normal. Wagon school and surfing and windsurfing and diving in the ocean and partying and walking around in bare feet. Fishing, and I thought that was normal. Does everyone live like this? No. On the internet till 2005, 6, 7, it was, and then it just 2008 they got rid of the skunk and they started. That was the interesting year, 2008, as Patrick Berge said. That's when they started. Norman Dodd. Remember the synthesis, the merging of the United States and Russia. Why they keep going on about Russia? Russia's our friend. Russia, because they want to merge the United and we're Christian countries. They're merging the old Soviet Union and the United States into that multipolar world order, and that's the worry. Thank you, Norman Dodd. The links are all below, people. Easily done. Now let's turn to the WEF. This is a worry. It's a big worry. Where are you, WEF? Now listen to this brief extract.
It is a reality that we are in the middle of two orders. We had one order post-Cold War, and then now it's an unruly time because we don't exactly know what the new order will be. But we do
working on it.
Know it's going to be more multipolar than in the past, but we do also hope that there will be some multipolarity with some multilateralism. We need rules and regulations, but they might be different from the past. But if you look at it with experience we had with...
That's a bit of a worry. Thanks for those links. You will, of course, remember Barack Obama hanging out with a book about Obama shrinking back into the multipolar world. Remember, Bush's job was to go out, destroy everything, all right? Destroy everything, make a fool of itself. Everyone hates America. With, good old Tsar of Iraq, Paul Bremer, the 2IC, a Kissinger and associates. You think this would be on everyone's lips? Hey, Whitney Webb, do you want to talk about Paul Bremer and Kissinger and setting Iraq on fire and your friends in Iran? 6 years in Scotland hanging with Jack Straw and, tie it all together, Whitney. And, oh, boy, more and more people are calling her out. I told you this would happen. That's why you see me make jokes. I know. I just got to stay alive. The truth has long legs. All of you people, and I promise you, it's changed. Pluto's in Aquarius. There's going to be consequences for a lot of people. Ask Scott Bennett. There's going to be consequences. Whitney, pack yourself up out of Chile, and I suggest you get yourself to London where you can hang out with all your friends from the old anti-nuclear campaigners, the old KGB boys and girls, the old City of London, because that's who you work for. And you're going to find out, Whitney, you're not welcome in the United States. You're going to find out, Whitney, that if you're not worried about the government, worry about 300 million patriots with firearms. How about that? Because you all need to work out that the truth will always come out, and we have entered into a new phase. Pluto is in Aquarius, and things move fast. So watch out. All of you little you-know-whats. I haven't sworn once, and I will not swear. I already swore in that last small video on Patreon as I cursed a curse. Multipolar world. Let's quickly get this up. Now, I do believe that Mary has bought this book. I would like to buy it. I will. God, I have to read though. Shit, $79. Okay, $79. That'll soon be out of date. That'll soon be out of stock. Obama and the Emergence of a Multipolar World Order, Redefining U.S. Foreign Policy from 2018. This book argues that critical international and domestic crises, such as the U.S. war in Iraq and the Great Recession, forced Barack Obama to readjust U.S. foreign policy after over 70 years of American hegemony and defending the global status quo. It examines the range of external pressures and challenges brought on by an increasingly multipolar international system, shifting domestic political forces and limited foreign policy choices. The book provides an overview of the extent of foreign policy change and continuity in Obama's foreign policy towards Europe. Blah, 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 blah. And there's another one. It says here, these ultimately contributed to a more scaled back and limited U.S. role in the world during Obama's presidency, culminating in the 2016 presidential election of Donald Trump, who promised to turn the U.S. away from globalization and questioned long-standing U.S. alliances. In the end, the theme of nation building here at home under Obama gave way to America first under Trump. But you can see there that was the plan. So Bush steps in, destroys everything, goes off, makes a fool of America, instigates all the control mechanisms in the United States, all the iris scanning, all the searches, all the microwaves zapping you as you go through airport security, all the domestic spying, all under Bush. All of it. I mean, there's lots done before that, but really Bush accelerated under the Patriot Act. Okay, you can see this unfolding. Or who are they all friends with? Good old Kissinger, the existential Jewish German, using his little worldview to push things. And then you see moving on into Obama, the next phase of the operation, to withdraw the United States out of the world, just to pull back and start doing all the drone attacks and all this other stuff. But they're starting to pull back, starting to get ready for Trump, and Trump was going to do the dirty work. Trump was going to pull completely out of NATO, out of the Middle East, right? And then Kissinger's friends over there in Russia, China, Middle East, and all the rest would take over, and they would form the Eurasian Economic Union, Iran included, and the US would handle North America, South America, and the new multipolar world order. See, you will not see this theme anywhere else on the internet. And I freaking own this because me and 10 people who I don't even know are sending links. It's incredible. How could this even be? People say, you're a genius, O'Connell. I understand. I just watched that video and I just knew. And you're a genius. How can I be a freaking genius when it's on Google? It is simply available to anyone who cares to look. Just simply go and look, and there it all is. The Primakov Doctrine, that great video, just missing a bunch of info, but you get it. No one can put together. Best friends, Yevgeny Primakov. There he is, the foreign minister. He's best friends with Heinz Kissinger, and there he is with Vladimir Putin, and nobody can work it out. Whitney Webb can't tell you. They can't work it out. I'm giving you gold only because the one-eyed man in the internet world of the alt media blind is king. So of course I look good. Of course I look. Now imagine if I wasn't getting hacked every damn 5 minutes and I had a normal life where I'm not anxious and worried about arrest and deportation every 5 seconds and who I'm upsetting this week, and then I have to be careful what I say in case. Do you imagine if I just had an ordinary life in the United States, hanging with Lee? Lee's been down to Phoenix, Arizona, and he's filmed all the new chip fabrication facilities with that drone. Where'd you get the drone from, Lee? I'm so jealous. I want a Hasselblad drone. I'm waiting for that Maverick 4. Please let it come out. That thing is looking amazing. But anyway, if I can afford it, it's going to cost an arm and a leg. But it's worth it. No, trust me, I need to get into photography for my sanity alone. But assuming we can get one, maybe in Mexico we can. Don't know about you, United States, but no, it'll probably still be there. DJI will still be. It's all German technology anyway. It's not Chinese. But Lee's been doing great work, and I just wish I could be in the US work. It'd be so easy. I'd be organising conferences, we'd have town meetings, we'd be flying around, we'd crowdfund it, we'd get hundreds of thousands of dollars like that, because people are craving. Can we just have some honest, sincere, normal political activity, please? Nobody's going to touch me. Nobody's going to come near me. And we're going to have a bus with a freedom bus, and we'd be traveling around, and we'd have security, we'd have some, we're not stupid. We'll let people know. Don't even bother coming near us. You're going to get hurt, perhaps physically as well. We're not f***ing around with you people. See, you need to let them know from the beginning that this smile is a smile. And if you're sincere, even a sincere idiot, you'll be, well, okay, you're an idiot. We disagree. Okay, that's fine. But, we'll be liaising with the FBI. We'd be liaising with the Department of Homeland Security. There's no problem. Put the FBI on the damn bus. Give us FBI phones if you want. We don't care. We've got nothing to hide. We're here to put across this national security issue and get Jews, Muslims, and Christians together and all that other stuff. Well, it'd be easy. But it's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to be fundraised. And everyone's going to continue to try and stay online, realizing that can't, because no one can go full time. No one's got the money. See, they got all the money. We don't have the money. Though I'm pretty sure we could fundraise. I have offered to various people, let's get together and put a business plan, a political business plan, and fund it. So Lee can get $100,000 a freaking year so he can confidently go full time and do what he needs to do with a few helpers. But, I don't know. I guess I live this night and day, so it's harder when someone has a life and they got to pay their bills and their mortgage and their rent. Okay, so I don't push it anymore, but that's where we got to push it. So at the end of it all, it's pretty funny. I was watching some of the reporting on Pete Hegseth, who's just a complete dick. I mean, I do agree. I do agree with Pete Hegseth on some of the stuff he has to say. He says he wants a lethal force to get rid of this diversity, all this other stuff. Well, of course you're going to get rid of it. You're the hero come to slay the pretend dragon. Get the high heels out of the Pentagon. They create the crisis so the hero can come in and solve it. Pete Hegseth's a dickhead, a red shoe wearing little prancing boy who's been groomed for this job on Murdoch's Fox News. You got a Bronze Star for Valor? I straight away when I read that he got the Bronze Star for Valor, I think twice under combat in Iraq or where I don't believe it. Straight away. That's bullshit. I bet you it's completely fake. He's been groomed for this little job for a while, but I agree with what he said. He said, we want a lethal force, get back to war fighting. Well, that's great. But see, of course we're meant to feel relief. First, they destroy the Pentagon. Then they rebuild the Pentagon with their hero, their appointed hero. So yeah, need to be careful. So one side's saying that Pete Hegseth was destroyed. I'm looking for where is it? Anyway, it said Pete Hegseth has been destroyed. This is the Times of London or whatever, one of those British Times radio. And then I got Megyn Kelly saying, oh, Pete Hegseth destroyed them and they looked ridiculous. And I'm going, well, which is it? Which one is it? And I watched some of the stuff and, he looked to me like, well, he did come across quite confident and good, but they destroyed him on a lot of stuff that he was not up for the job. But why would he be? He's in his late 30s. What the hell? He's going to run the Department of Defense? Who's going to be running it? What, him and Eric Prince? Maybe Ariane Rahm Emanuel will be helping. Israeli's going to get back straight into the Pentagon. That guy needs to go. He's a dickhead. He is a dickhead. He's a drunk, he's a drunk, impulsive idiot. You don't let a 38-year-old into the Pentagon to run the Pentagon. I'm sorry, it doesn't happen. It's 50 plus. You've got to be over 50 before you get anywhere near those sorts of jobs. And what do you think he's going to fix up the Department of Defense? Because the power of his own will with Tulsi Gabbard, who do they work for? I don't know who's behind him. Who's behind him? I see good things and I see bad things. And I mean, is that the plan? I'm so demoralized and my head hurts. My head literally hurts. Maybe that's the plan. But I have to go back to my gut, and my gut is saying, ooh, there's something going on. Something is going on, Brendan, above and beyond just the normal. That snake, I can see it. I visualize, what is it? And it's this snake slithering past the children's feet, slithering back into the house. Very dangerous time. Trump-tards, God bless you all. Do not let this happen. Remember the greats of Norman Dodd. Remember our North Star. Okay, the US cannot withdraw from the world, number one. And number two, the US power cannot be used to make a multipolar world order, which they then simply withdraw from and hand to the hoof Jews and the court Jews of Europe. This cannot happen. We have to see, while we allow some political tussling and flanking left and flanking right, okay, how much is enough now? And I think enough is enough. We already have to put up with Susie Wiles, the Emmanuel brothers, and all the rest of the horse pucky, and these ridiculous, it's just ridiculous. It's insulting. They're insulting people's intelligence for the reason is just to get people amped up and clicking more and to say we have a vibrant democracy. Look, when it's just bullshit scripted garbage. You know what? If you can just get this big picture narrative, US engagement in the world because of the divinely inspired US Constitution, that's the only reason you have any right to be in the world, that, in my opinion. A lot of people say you don't, but that's in my opinion. Because these people are cheering on the Rothschild City of London network, the UN and the rest of it. UN eventually, as far as I'm concerned, I used to think, well, leave it, no, get rid of it. But then what would all the hookers in New York do? What would all the drug dealers in New York do? That's all the UN is. It's a big drug and hooker party, and it's a recruitment ground for the FBI and the CIA to recruit foreign nationals. That's literally all the UN is. That's why they have it in New York, because it's just a recruitment ground. And it just keeps the FBI busy. They're an industry all their own. The FBI, the intelligence industry, like the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex, the intelligence industrial complex, employing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and you're so moronic, you couldn't even work it. They still say that 19 Arab hijackers did 9/11, everybody. I mean, all right, let's go back to that. The narrative out there is still from all these alt media geniuses who are going to deliver the United States from purgatory. The narrative is still 19 Arab hijackers did 9/11. Stop right there. If we can't even get something like some very unusual things happen on 9/11, we haven't got to the bottom of this. It's not just Saudi Arabia. There's a whole range of other issues. The World Trade Center coming down was not correct. World Trade Center 7 coming down was not correct. We need a thorough investigation. I'll accept that bone toss. Give me that bone. I'll nibble. Yeah, okay, it's not the best, but I'll do. Don't even get that. 19 Arab hijackers. We're not hearing about the dismantling of the police state that's called America. Are you going to be eye scanned and thumb scanned and have things shoved up your ass every time you go to an airport? When are we going to dismantle that? When are we going to say, okay, it's a tumultuous period, but we have a plan, a 10-year plan to dismantle all this apparatus in the United States. We have a plan to completely dismantle the drug trade that's causing all this violence and all these problems. We're going to where's the rhetoric? Where's the talk? Where's the narrative? 19 Arab hijackers did 9/11. We're still on that bullshit. We need to start right back there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this has helped in some way. Good riddance to Elon Musk. He will be got rid of, thank God. That's part one. Then we've got to move on to other things, obviously, which is Chabad Lubavitch, Jared Kushner, and the Emmanuel brothers, and Israeli penetration of the United States. It's hinted at, it's touched on here and there, but it's never gone into. You find me a place where it's thoroughly gone into, and you got these new channels now being pushed by Tucker Carlson asking questions. Is Sean Ryan in the CIA? See the narrative is bursting out. They're losing control of the narrative. It's expanding out of the sheep pen. The narrative is expanding out of the sheep pen. Trump is not buying this crap anymore. They're questioning. Wait a minute. Let's talk about Israel and this other stuff. Oh, whoa. Come on, we gave you Candace Owens and the Liberty. Next thing you know, we'll be exposing, the Abraham Lincoln assassination and telling you how important that is, or UFOs again. See, so losing control. The narrative is pushing out slowly but slowly. They've got to capture it, so they need some young Turks. So those two Asian guys, good Asian American, very important demographic. They've got young Asian American guys going, I know Sean Ryan well. Yeah, I bet you know Sean Ryan well. Oh, is Sean Ryan in the CIA? Oh my goodness. I mean, really, they're not very talented people. They're not. They're pretty dumb. They've lived in a rigged game their entire life. So when they start getting pressure put on them, real pressure, they don't know what to do. They start freaking out. What do we do? It's not working. Start here. Pluto is in Aquarius. Repeat after me. Pluto is in Aquarius. Let's do a zoom. Pluto is in look into my, no, I swore I wouldn't swear. Look into my eyes. Pluto is in Aquarius. It's over. All right. I'm not sure what's coming, but the old days of getting away with it are over. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you with the great F. Scott Fitzgerald and the great, the one, the only, Bill Cooper.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true."
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about, nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom.